present to a judge who's going to listen and say, here, this is proof that shows that there is an apparent conflict by, her attorney selling items or benefiting or having book deals or movie deals that you have solid proof to say, here's the producer or here's the person, the publishing company who is now contracted. And a lot of these, this is not something new. This has been around since the beginning of TV and movies that people try to make money. So people keep it under the table. In some ways, there's never a way to find out.
All right, let me jump over to David Allenbard, our defense attorney today. I imagine you have a very different reaction, David?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, in terms of the conflict, I certainly understand the idea that the prosecutor wants to make sure that the conviction can't be reversed on the grounds that there was some kind of conflict. But I have to be troubled, and I think defense attorneys everywhere have to be troubled by the notion that a prosecutor can muck about in the sacred bond between attorney and client. We've seen this happen in a number of years, over the last number of years, in a number of different contexts. We saw Bruce Cutler.
What are you doing, Veruca?
Representing John Gotti because he was House counsel. We've seen attorneys question in terms of whether the fee is coming from the proceeds of crimes. How did Bernard Madoff hire an attorney, and couldn't that have been challenged on the grounds that so much of his money must have come from his illegalities? And it's a problem because people are entitled to defense attorneys of their choice by the Constitution, and I don't generally like to see prosecutors going about trying to interfere with that sacred constitutional right.
Let me jump back over to Beth Karras on this question of the so-called story. Just because the U.S. Supreme Court has said that it's really the right of the press to be present, and the defendant can challenge that, but the defendant can't necessarily close a courtroom to the press if he or she wants to. And I've actually written arguing, counter to my best interest here on Best Defense, that a defendant in some cases might want to close the courtroom to the press and perhaps should have that right. Let me jump out to Beth Karras. Beth, I want to ask you about something in the Jose Baez response to this motion. He says that there are future motions for sanctions about misconduct stemming from the release of discovery which involves the unauthorized videotaping of the defendant's counsel. Now, arguably that's irrelevant to the motion filed today by prosecutors, but he says the effort was to deflect attention from that upcoming motion for sanctions. What's that all about?
What's the matter, Veruca? You mad at me?
The filing of the motion for sanctions.
What's wrong?
The filing of this motion. Today happened to be the hearing, but this motion by the state to determine if there was a conflict of interest was filed around the same time that the defense wanted the prosecution's hands slapped for having video rolling in the jail when Casey Anthony learns that her baby Kaylee, her remains have been found, or at least the bag of skeletal remains has been found, and determined within a few days to be her daughter's. That's arguably a privileged communication, even though we don't know that there is any audio recording. Gestures can still be a form of communication, and the court actually did deny the sanctions here, and did say this a couple weeks ago to Mr. Baez, you need to take a look at that video because there may be something in there you want, and may actually be helpful to you.
So what's coming up next, Beth, and when will this thing really go to trial?
Well, that's the big question, Jamie. I wish I could answer it. There's a tentative date for October 12th, but the first trial date in a first-degree murder case, unlikely to actually go on that date, but that's the target date is in the fall.
All right. Well, of course, we're going to bring it to our viewers live with the help of our wonderful team of correspondents. And Beth Karras, there probably will be motions well before that October date that we will also cover as well. Thank you so much for your reporting today. That, of course, is our correspondent, Beth Karras, reporting on today's motion in the Casey Anthony case. And there will be an update, I am sure, on courtside with Jack Ford and Ashley Banfield. Right now, we're going to switch gears. We are going to Albuquerque, New Mexico for our live trial, the trial of this man, Brandon Craig. He's charged with triple homicide in a case that dates back almost 10 years. Live action on the other side of this.
Friday night on True TV. You're on the case with Case File Fridays. 2 hours of real investigations that will blow your mind.
People will kill for the most trivial of reasons.
Unlock real cases, find real evidence, and solve real crimes.
You'll always leave a piece of trace evidence behind.
Shows so incredible they can only air on True TV. Case File Fridays. Friday night starting at 9, only on True TV. Not reality, actuality.
Are you spending too much money on TV? Do you want great programming choices for your family at the lowest possible prices? I used to be just like you, spending too much money for TV and fed up with poor customer service. Then, I found the best deals on TV entertainment. And today, I'll share my secret with you, so you too can enjoy your favorite channels for just a fraction of what you pay now. It's Dish Network, the home of the lowest all-digital nationwide price every day. And Dish Network has always been all digital, not like analog cable. And right now, you can get the best deal ever on Dish Network, with over 100 of the best channels for just $9.99 a month for 6 months. So why are you spending more and getting less with your current provider? Save now with Dish Network's best deal ever, and you'll save later too, with Dish Network's everyday low prices. Every month you can save $10, $20, $30, maybe even more with Dish Network. Low prices, tons of choice.